dual passport. His grandparents actually came across from Australia during the Second World War. They came across in the early 1940s, ostensibly to help with the war effort. I think his grandmother and grandfather worked in a tank factory producing tanks for the war effort. And whilst they were here, then his mum was born. So by virtue of the fact his mum is English, then Billy McConnell has both Australian and English nationality. He obviously right up there. Runner in the Stock 1000 Championship of last year. He rode for Bill Bates BMW.
The Pirelli National Superstock 1000cc Championship in association with Black Horse. A packed grid of 39 riders here for the shockingly fast Thruxton airfield circuit here in Hampshire, with the returning Billy McConnell on pole position. But it's Richard Cooper who leads the way by 42.5 points from Batham's BMW and Taylor Mackenzie. Lee Jackson, after his rumbustious performance at Snetterton, is third in the table, ahead of Alex Olsen, Lewis Rollo in fifth, and Tom Neve in sixth place for Honda Racing. A blistering lap of 1 minute 15.839 for Billy McConnell, well under the lap record by half a second, puts OMG Suzuki on pole position. Ahead of the rival build-based Suzuki of Richard Cooper, the title leader, Taylor Mackenzie's BMW in third. Lee Jackson in fourth place ahead of Andy Reid on the Tyco BMW, and Luke Jones on the big thumping 1200cc twin-cylinder Ducati. Alex Olsen in seventh place ahead of Chrissy Rouse, Morello Racing Kawasaki, and Luke Hedger. And on the fourth row, Ashley Beach, Levi Day and Emili Lati. That's a nice interesting fourth row with Oldham versus Australia versus Finland. International racing at its best here, and despite the slightly gloomy look of the cloud, the sun is actually burning through that cloud. It's very, very hot. Now Billy McConnell making a return from some really quite severe illness and stomach operations. Great to see the man from Adelaide back on the line, but he does tend to use his tyres fairly hard around this abrasive track here at Thruxton, and 16 laps ahead of them, James Whittam.
Yeah, it's going to be a tyre war again. It always is. Tyres last about 5 laps, and that's about your lot. It's who copes best after that point, so we'll see. And you're right, Billy is a bit aggressive sometimes.
So the lights are out and McConnell goes for the start. The pint side Scooper Cooper pinches the lead though as they go into the first turn, right where he had a monumental accident in qualifying yesterday. Fortunately he emerged uninjured from the barriers, and so too did his motorcycle, and he's there in the lead for build-based Suzuki, the championship leader. Second place McConnell, third place the Batham's BMW of Taylor Mackenzie. And look at that great swarm of 1000cc and even 1200cc motorcycles. I think Luke Jones has made a sprightly start on the Big Duke in about 5th place.
Yeah, Luke Jones has been pretty quick all weekend. Billy just out the seat there on one of those big sort of rolling undulations you get down there at Village, all the way around here. They're not sharp bumps, they're just undulations that set off the rear. If you're just on the power as well, it can start the bike sliding. Really fast circuit. If you've got a good bike that you trust, it's brilliant. If you haven't, it's a little bit scary around here.
Last year we saw Taylor Mackenzie lose out in a battle with Josh Elliott, with third place going to Lee Jackson round this especially fast, well, fastest in the country airfield circuit here. The two Suzukis leading the way. Third place for Taylor Mackenzie, and a good start for Tyco BMW and Andy Reid. The Ulsterman running there in fourth place ahead of the orange helmet of Lee Jackson. Then it's Luke Jones on the Ducati, Alex Olsen, Chrissy Rouse, Day and Rollo rounding out that top 10.
Yeah, it's the fastest. Not only is it the fastest short circuit in the UK. Oh, hang on.
Oh, mistake by Cooper.
I know. Yep. That's you don't see that very often.
Oh, look at the front end of that Suzuki twitching as he switches through from the Cobb into Seagrave, and then as they head out into the country.
Yeah, this is Noble's left-hander, third gear, and then upper gear, fourth gear. This is Village, long corner. You're just going round Village corner forever, and it doesn't really straighten out before you hit the fastest corner in any circuit in the world. This is Church, 135 miles an hour, and it's a full-on corner at that. It's not one where you're tucked in, you're actually sort of knee-down style.
And look at that, the gap, and you can see the pace of those Suzuki's change because they pull a gap, and no one's close enough to attack them as they drop into club corner. Lee Jackson tried to take the long way round Andy Reid and tuck in on the inside, but can't quite do it.
Yeah, that's the plan. You go round the outside on the right-hander and then just park your bike on the left-hander, but it didn't get far enough into Andy Reid before it got to that left-hander.
So the race leader then, Richard Cooper. Right behind him, the 32, the tough and very, very fit-looking Billy McConnell on his return to racing, the 32-year-old, originally from Adelaide, of course, now in Hinckley in the Midlands.
Yeah, Billy was wide, exactly the same as Leader Cooper was the lap before, and that cost him a little bit of time. That's a faller.
And at least you've got some nice grass to bounce on around here. Oh, it's not Luke Jones, is it? Oh, no. Whoa.
Is it Aprilia? I think it's one of the Aprilias.
Is it?
I think so.
So it would be Levi Day or Lewis Rollo who's gone down.
That's definitely an Aprilia. Definitely. 100%.
So Aprilia seem to be throwing themselves around the place at the moment. We've got Cooper, Elite, and look at this front batch of 5. Cooper, McConnell, McKenzie, Reid and Jackson absolutely leathering themselves round, and then Luke Jones leading the second wave from Alex Olsen and Chrissy Rouse.
Yeah, this is definitely going to come down to somebody who can conserve a tyre a little bit. They seem to be pushing on at the minute, 160s. They're actually not. They're probably about half a second off what they're capable of doing looking at the practice times. And that's probably whereabouts they need to be. They can probably eke out another lap and a half or 2 laps out of those tyres before they start to degrade. And we're looking at probably half race distance where they're going to get good grip. After that, it's going to be clinging on a new coats at best.
And that move by Lee Jackson, he did manage to bomb past Andy Reid as they went into the chicane. It cost him a bit of time, but now he's closed the gap again on Taylor McKenzie. And the 2 guys we've lost are indeed, it was Levi Day on the iron competition Aprilia, but also it was former Superstock 600 champion Dan Stamper on the Allied Motorsport Suzuki who went down.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, out in the country at blistering pace, these are the leading contenders, and that third place BMW really having to work hard. It's a 2016 bike, Michael Rutter was telling me, that BMW of Taylor McKenzie's. He said it's just beginning to feel its age a bit against the modern day weapons.
Yeah, but listen, they're going to be able to refresh the engine. It's not feeling its age in terms of, you know, like your car would, that it's wearing out. This just means it's been stripped and looked at, and that the wheels changed a lot. So, hang on,
look,
that's really
Andy Reid.
Yeah.
So he has to rejoin where he left the track, which he does, tucking in.
Yeah, I think that's acceptable. And sometimes going in there, you know, Jack, it isn't your fault. If you're sort of handlebar to handlebar with somebody, it's easy to get shoved a little bit wide. If you leant over at that point, you'd lose the front. So the safest option is to run wide and run across the sort of tarmac escape road there.
I've just had a message handed to me that says, happy birthday to Neil Tidd from the Care in the Community crew. So, Neil, wherever you are, many happy returns. Meanwhile, out on track, Richard Cooper still defending his lead against Billy McConnell.
I saw a bit of smoke there, you know. Weirdly, I saw a little puff of smoke, and I just can't tell you where it was from.
And we've lost, I think the second iron competition Aprilia has gone down. Well, you're right, it was the correction is that it was number 80 who fell at turn 3, so Mr. Whittam, absolutely right. Both of those were Aprilias. Both of Ian Newton's Aprilias have gone out, Lewis Rollo and Levi Day.
Oh, I feel better now for that.
And now as they storm and in on the brakes into club corner, Andy Reid looking to get the better of and gets really close, shaving paint there with Lee Bob Jackson.
Yeah, and the fact is, you know that the people you're racing with, you know what they're going to be like, you know who's a hard rider, who's likely to shove a wheel on the inside of you. And Reid is a hard rider, he'd admit that, and so he doesn't tend to get a lot of change from anybody else. You know, no quarter given or asked for in Reid's case.
He's being shadowed at the moment by the relaxed figure of Alex Olsen on that Team IMR BMW. who incidentally are intending to go into Superbikes with Alex Olsen next year.
That's the word, yep.
So on the 6th lap of 16 then, with Richard Cooper still leading the way, with a constantly harried by Billy McConnell. Billy McConnell, who couldn't help but really get into motorcycle sport because his grandfather, Charlie McConnell, raced Speedway for 20 years back in Australia.
Yep.
And his dad even did some Speedway for Workington over here in the UK. So he not only had the Speedway connection, he had the UK connection too, as he shakes the head of the OMG Suzuki. And that gives Taylor Mackenzie just a chance to get up alongside him. And he does. Hits the brakes hard and late. And T-Mac goes through into second place on the Batham's BMW.
Yeah, a little bit of instability there from the front end of the number 3 Suzuki of Billy McConnell. And that was at about 140, 150 miles an hour, just accelerating out of church. So fairly scary on the change of direction there.
Now, can Taylor Mackenzie do anything about race leader Richard Cooper? Last lap, 116.9 against 116.68 for the older of the Mackenzie boys.
Yeah, Taylor was reasonably confident he could run at the front. He said he thought it was going to come down to himself, Cooper and Lee Bob Jackson. He felt that Billy McConnell would probably wear the tire a little bit and drop off at the end. And he said it's probably going to be the 3 of us in the closing stages, and that looks like what might be still on the cards, I think, that.
I suppose Reed in 5th, Olsen in 6th, and Chrissy Rouse right on the back of that group in 7th with the Morello Racing cars. He might have a say in that. Luke Jones still leads the second wave ahead of Luke Hedger and Tom Neve.
Yeah, fastest man on track, Chrissy Rouse at a 16, mid-16s, 15.55, so you're right. And he's down in 7th in that, the very back of that second little crew there.
There's still a couple of as we look at
that old move.
Oh,
is he going to work? He'll work this time. Yeah, that's it.
Wow, that was absolutely a fag paper between them as they went leaned into the chicane. Brave move then by Jackson. So the mild-mannered plumber from Lincoln moves through into 3rd place.
Do you know, I don't know what's happened to Lee Bob Jackson. I think, you know what, he does his plumbing round. I think somebody's not paying the bill because he's ended up really angry these last couple of rounds. Snared, and he pulled a few really hard moves. And he's doing the same again. And
yeah,
I think in the paddock, I said, plumbing ain't what happened to you at Snared? He just grinned. So he's obviously made a decision at some point to be a bit harder.
And he even rubbed up his best mate Richard Cooper, didn't he, the wrong way by attacking him vigorously at Snetterton.
Yeah, he did.
And Taylor Mackenzie now looking keen to launch an assault on the build-based Suzuki. So the battle very much on at the front. Suzuki, BMW, Kawasaki and BMW, and Suzuki, sorry, and then that little gap to Olsen, Reed and Rouse. Alex Olsen now ahead of Andy Reid in the Tyco BMW.
Yeah, really good classes in terms of different machines. As you say, you've got a Suzuki, a BMW, a Kawasaki, another Suzuki. Second group, you've got a couple of Kawasaki's, Aprilias are competitive.
Here comes Jackson.
Lovely move. And that was the opposite. That was stay up the inside, that.
Oh, and a long lap penalty for the Tyco BMW of Andy Reid. That's going to put him out of contention.
I think that would be that he was deemed or perceived to have gained a little bit of time in that move over the chicane, I think.
Bless him, he's lost that time since then, so it's that seems a shame, but there you go. Ninth lap of 16 then, right past half distance right now. Yeah,
here comes Billy. Now the long lap is just coming up now. It's at Cobb, which is the left-hander here. Watch him, you'll see Andy Reid go wide. No, it doesn't this side. He's got another lap to do with it. It's on your left there, you see.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, heck, it's a long way around, isn't it?
Yeah.
The tourist's route. So here we go.
Yeah, but as a penalty, it's done, it's finished, and when the race is finished, you don't have any time to drop.
Look at Lee Jackson now attacking Richard Cooper. So we've got a Snetterton rerun here. Well, remember, it was Cooper who eventually prevailed by the narrowest of margins ahead of Lee Jackson. Lee Jackson now on the 9th lap of 16, just past half race distance, looks keen to launch an early attack.
Lee Bob, speaking to him this morning, he felt the Kawasaki had a little bit of speed possibly over the Suzuki, he said. So, doesn't look like that from here, does it? Suzuki looks sharp.
The Suzuki looks very sharp. He's going to try that manoeuvre again round the outside and sit it up on the inside, but Cooper's wise to it. McConnell has sneaked past Taylor Mackenzie. So, at the end of the 9th lap, it's Cooper, Jackson, Mackenzie and McConnell across the line. Any one of them could win this race. On the 10th lap of 16 here in the National Superstock 1000 Championship. An invigorating race and a mistake by Lee Jackson. He runs awfully deep there into Campbell's. And there's the long lap for Andy Reid. Swell just about stays within the long lap. So the Tyco BMW rejoins.
That was all right.
Which is what happened to him. Oh, he got pushed wide by Alex Olsen, just as you said.
I've said that that's exactly what can happen going in there, and it is the safest option. But you know, that's rules are rules, I guess. Alex Olsen, fastest man on track last time round.
I thought that it was amongst the front four, but I think Alex Olsen could well come into the mix here because we know what a smooth rider he is. It could just be he's conserving rubber. Behind him is a man you wouldn't always call smooth, the maths teacher and University of Newcastle graduate Chrissy Rouse, 6th place for Morello Racing. So this front 6 now are pretty much together. This is great. We're on the 10th lap of 16 and anything could happen.
Yeah, I've said it before, really good classes, brilliant class. Most manufacturers produce a competitive bike and they're just good. These things are lots and lots of power. Top side of 200 brake horsepower in the trim, you see them now, so they're only probably 20 or 25 down from a superbike. They've got to run street tyres, road legal tyres. Everything has to remain pretty much standard on the bike, wheels, brakes, etc. You can move the footrest around a little bit, the handlebars, you can take the road going stuff off like the lights and the indicators and the switch gear. Apart from that, you go racing with them, but don't think that they are some kind of wobbly, not sharp kind of road bike. They're not. They are road bikes, but they're brilliant things, these.
You have to say it's a heck of an advert for production tyres.
Honestly.
Look at Jackson's guys, he got round the outside. Yes. He got round the outside into Church. Sensational move by Lee Jackson on the FS3 Racing Kawasaki.
I don't know how that worked. I've never seen that work before.
Wow. Well, Jackson thought he might have the legs to take this to Cooper. Olsen's right around the outside there of Taylor Mackenzie. T-Mac fights back on the brakes. McConnell tries the same move and succeeds as he got outwitted by Lee Jackson a few laps earlier. Yeah. So he turns it into 2nd place ahead of Richard Cooper. Yeah,
we think that Billy McConnell might wear his tyres out a little bit. He always is a little bit tail happy. That's why we like him, but he certainly isn't short of bravery, and that's having a lot of time off as well. This the Jackson move. Yeah, and if you look on the inside, it was helped a little bit by the fact that Richard Cooper just couldn't get the drive. You see it wagging around at the back there.
Wow, so exhilarating stuff here means that the front two...
Hang on.
And Mackenzie's through ahead of Cooper. Remember Cooper had an enormous accident in qualifying yesterday, James. The bike had to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be rebuilt, but you never know, there might be a little aftermath to that.
I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever seen Richard Cooper as far down as 4th in any race this year.
So Lee Jackson leads the way. McConnell is still absolutely on it on his return with the OMG Suzuki. And while Chrissy Rouse, who's got the fastest race lap set at the moment, has just tailed off this group.
Here comes Mackenzie, I think.
Mackenzie on McConnell.
Yeah, that'll work.
McConnell very resistant, but has to let him through. So Taylor Mackenzie, the 26-year-old Scotsman there, then moves through in pursuit of Lee Jackson. Lee Jackson, I suspect, is looking for his first race win of the season.
Yeah, I think so.
2nd place at Snetterton, have a rip-snorting race, and here he goes, leading the way. McConnell hounding the BMW of Taylor Mackenzie. So right now, Kawasaki, BMW, Suzuki's at the front.
Yeah, another BM in the hands of Alex Olsen. Lots of lines around here. Yeah. You look at the tyre marks, which is obviously where the riders are opening the throttle and things trying to spin. But it tells you exactly where the line is normally. Any normal track where the racing line is probably 18 inches wide, but here you got 10, 15 feet worth of rubber marks.
And on the 13th lap of 16, I suspect these guys are already thinking about the final lap and what they'll be doing on the approach along Brooklands here towards that club chicane.
And you know, lap times have dropped a little bit, but not that much. We're talking about half a second they've dropped. I thought they'd be well past a second slower than what they were at their fastest. Fastest lap of this race is 16.5, and they're doing 17.2s now. And that to me tells me that most of them, even though it looks like they've been absolutely full for all the race, they probably haven't been. You know, they've probably been riding reasonably reserved with the throttle, just trying to make those tyres last a couple of laps longer.
So as they go into the complex on lap 14, Lee Jackson still with that slight advantage over Taylor Mackenzie, Billy McConnell, Richard Cooper, just breaking clear now a bit of Alex Olsen on the Team IMR BMW. And there's a long lap penalty for number 27, Bjorn Estmont, on the Everquick Racing cat for Suzuki. Fresh from racing in the Suzuka 8 Hours, the South African last weekend.
Yeah, the South African races in lots of things, including he races classic bikes, TZ 350s, all sorts of stuff. He's regularly out on all sorts of machines.
So the man from originally from North Kesteven School, back in Lincoln, Lee Jackson leads the way. Remember, he's had a victory last year in this series at Cadwell Park, his home race. Very, very different circuit to this one. Now he's looking for victory here at Thruxton, but look at number 77, Taylor Mackenzie.
Another interesting fact about Lee Bob Jackson is his mum and dad's lawn used to be cut by Alex and Sam Laws. That was a bit of a Saturday job, and I don't know what Lee Bob was doing at that time. He should have been doing it, shouldn't he?
You would have thought so. How does he? He's a bit younger, isn't he? He's only 23 years old, so he's substantially younger than the Lowe's twins.
Yeah. Maybe he couldn't handle the lawnmower.
So Jackson, whose uncle Lee Jackson, same name, was, oh dear me, we've got number 90 at the back, that's Michael Austin. Yep. From Oxford on the MPA Racing Kawasaki, hopefully keeping well out of the way, because here come the leaders. Oh, Lee Jackson stepping out the rear wheel of that Kawasaki at mind-boggling speed. And those front quartet now have broken clear of Alex Olsen. So Billy McConnell reliving his Grandad Speedway days there at Church, absolutely sideways.
Yeah, and now 15th lap of 16. He's only got one lap left. He's done his job with his tyres, that's Billy. He's obviously got as much left as anybody else, so now he can ride a little bit loose.
So this is fascinating. Penultimate lap complete, and they howl across the line. This is the final lap of the Thruxton, the Hampshire Airfields 2019 Superstock 1000 race, and Lee Jackson with that FS3 Kawasaki looking for his first race win of the season. Right behind him, championship runner-up Taylor Mackenzie.
I don't think Lee Bob's best placed here. If Taylor or even Billy McConnell can just get a run round this countryside section here and get a run up Woodham Hill and into the chicane, Taylor looks the most likely to me here.
Those two-wheel drifts just look spectacular. This is a glorious place. Final lap then. Here it's all building up to the climax then, with Lee Jackson in the box seat at the moment. Oh, look at them smoking their tyres as Taylor Mackenzie almost manages to get underneath the Kawasaki.
It's not there where he wants to do it. What he needs to do is get a good run out of this corner. This is Church. Get right in the slipstream, clean run.
And he's got a
clean run in ease. In the slipstream, look, he's half in, half out.
He got a beautiful run there, but so too did Jackson. Here comes Mackenzie up the inside, crucially in the club corner, and Lee Jackson's going to try and hang on with him, but Taylor Mackenzie's judged it to perfection. It looks like the black and gold Batham's BMW is going to take victory. He does. Perfect tactics from Taylor Mackenzie. Snatches victory from Jackson, who has to settle for second again for the second race in a row, ahead of McConnell. A brilliant third on his return to action. Fourth place, Richard Cooper, shedding a few points, but still a clear championship leader. And Lee Jackson offers a sporting hand to Taylor Mackenzie if they can get close enough.
Yeah, what a race. It's a brilliant class, this. I love the Stockdale class.
Behind them, it was Alex Olsen in fifth. Luke Jones. Chrissy Rouse slid to ninth place. Luke Jones, Tom Neve and Andy Reid ahead of him. Rouse in ninth, Luke Hedger in 10th, and Michael Rutter, oldest man out there on track by a long way, and this man's team boss and team manager. Well, he'll be thrilled to find that Taylor has won the race ahead of his own 11th place.
the Bathams owners, Tim and Matt, will be at home there. I don't think they've made it to this meeting. They do to quite a lot, but they'll be just cracking a bottle of one of their nice brews there, won't they? Just to celebrate.
What better thing to do on a beautiful summer afternoon?
Yeah.
So Taylor Mackenzie, following the sad injury to Taron yesterday, brings home some glory for the Mackenzie family.
Yeah, well, a lot of working out to be done there if you're going to win that. That wasn't just about being quick in any point. There were several riders there, well, at least 4 that were as quick as each other. You have to work that one out properly, be in the right place at the right time. Clearly, that wasn't going to be leading it starting the last lap.
And there's a lovely exchange between Team Boss and Team Ride #1 rider.
Yeah,
as Michael discovers that they've got a victory.
11, number 4 there, 11th for Michael Rutter. His age with his experience is just that. 11th is a good run in this class because it's a close class. No mug still.
47 years old now, Michael Rutter, and still capable of running top 10 in this class. And,
yeah, Rutter, he is one of the funniest men, albeit it's kind of doom and gloom sense of humour. Very dry, but he's got a book coming out end of this year, as Michael. So that
should be entertaining.
It should be, yeah. I think that'll be worth a read, that.
Enjoys a burnout there with his victorious teammate. A last-ditch win for Taylor Mackenzie on the Batham's BMW from Lee Bob Jackson on the FS3 Kawasaki. Billy McConnell, what a spectacular return on the OMG Suzuki. 3rd place ahead of championship leader Richard Cooper. Alex Olson's Team IMR BMW in 5th ahead of Luke Jones. Very battling 6th on the Ducati. Tom Neve Honda, Andy Reid Tyco BMW. Chrissy Rouse lost ground right at the end on the Morello Racing Kawasaki. Luke Hedger comes home in 10th place. 11th place for the 2nd Batham's BMW of Michael Rutter, and then the final point scorers are Paul McClung, Tom Ward, Tim Neve, and a point for raw rookie on the Team 109 Kawasaki, the 3rd of the Irwin boys from Northern Ireland, Graham Irwin. Richard Cooper's championship lead is trimmed by Taylor Mackenzie to a rather more realistic 30.5. Lee